Hey guys, we're back. And in this video, I'm looking at the Detroit Lions stock watch. So which players rose, which players fell, and which players stayed steady. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so we're going to start off in a positive note. We're going to start off with the players that rose their stock in last night's game versus the Texans, because there were definitely players that did that. Now, like I said, there are also players that definitely fell in stock, and there were some players that were just steady that did okay. But we saw a lot of good things. A lot of players definitely rose. Maybe some guys you wouldn't even expect. And that's pretty much the first guy. That is David Fales. David Fales was the Detroit Lions MVP last night. Even though they lost, he was still their MVP. He was really, really good. I mean, this guy was throwing dots. He was scrambling. He was evading the pressure. He just looked a lot more comfortable than he did in week one. And I think that's definitely a big factor, that he looked a lot more comfortable, right? I mean, week one was kind of his first time out there with Lions. He just looked comfortable in week two versus the Houston Texans, and I think that definitely helped him on the field. You were great, David Fales. I got to give that to you. Next up, we have Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, that linebacker, did it all, man. Jalen Reeves was making big hits, finding the holes when the running backs would come through them, but he was also playing really well in the coverage, okay? His pass coverage skills are definitely there. He's a very, very fast and agile type of linebacker, but the way that he was jumping routes, now he didn't come up with an interception or anything, but he jumped a few routes, and he was doing a lot of good things. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, you played really, really well yesterday. You definitely rose your stock to make this team. So I'm rooting for you, Jalen, to see what you can do. Next up, we have Jelani Tavai. Jelani Tavai is kind of hard to put on here because he's Jelani Tavai and he was our second round pick. So maybe you should expect that he would play like this, but he's still playing really good. And for the time that he's getting on the field, he's doing really well with all of that time. So I have to put Jelani Tavai on here. I can't hate on him just because he's supposed to be good. He's still really good. Then we have Will Harris. Will Harris with the fumble recovery for a touchdown. But not only that, he also played really well in the coverage side of things. And then next up, we have Romeo Okwara. And Romeo Okwara kind of goes here with Will Harris because Romeo Okwara was the guy that punched it out. Maybe he didn't even punch the ball. He might have just punched the player in the stomach. I don't know, because I think if you get punched in the stomach, yeah, you would probably drop the football. So whatever it was, he still made a good play. Romeo Okwara was getting in there into the backfield, getting sacks. Romeo Okwara was doing it all, and this is something that we've seen before. It's not new. He just doesn't get the credit that other players do. Romeo Okwara was great, and he definitely rose his stock. Romeo Okwara also comes on here with Will Harris to really set up that fumble recovery for a touchdown. And finally, we have Travis Fulgham, the wide receiver from Old Dominion. We were waiting for Travis Fulgham to get it going, and he finally did with a big grab. And he was like, yes, that's Travis. Like, that's Travis. That's what we've been waiting for. We also saw Andy Jones do the same type of thing. So they definitely helped themselves, and they rose their stock a little bit because these are guys that are definitely on that roster bubble. Wide receiver position group is super, super deep, so they need to play very well, and both of those guys did really, really well. Now, unfortunately, if there's a good, there's usually a bad. And yes, we did lose the game, so I guess that's unfortunate. But there were two players that I put in here for down. And you know what? It hurts me to do this. It really does, but I have to do it. And first off, we're going to start off with Josh Johnson. Now, you could make the case it should be steady here, and I think you definitely could. Why? Well, because he wasn't here very long, so he's a really new quarterback, and he wasn't awful. Like, he wasn't that bad. He wasn't very good, but he wasn't that bad. Offensive line, again, struggled a little with him. I think he had to scramble a little more, but he didn't scramble that much, and he was kind of inaccurate. Like, he knew where to go with the ball a lot of times. He would just overthrow or underthrow. I think he'll be better once his timing gets there and once he's more comfortable in the pocket with this Detroit Lions team. But at least for his first preseason game, it didn't look very, very promising. So he, unfortunately, fell in the stock a little bit, at least in my opinion, because he was that number 2 quarterback going into the game, and I think David Fales definitely just passed him with his performance. And this one hurts me more than it hurts you. I promise. This one hurts me more than it hurts you. Joe Dahl. Yo, it hurts me to say this. Joe Dahl. Joe Dahl, you hurt yourself. And Joe Dahl, you were great after the New England Patriots game. People wanted to see you start. You know, Kenny Wiggins not there. Okay, he's going to be your new left guard. 2 penalties at that guard position. Just a disappointing performance from Joe Dahl. You can see he was frustrated on the sideline. It hurts me, man. It hurts me to say this, because Joe Dahl is definitely one of my favorite players. And Joe Dahl, you definitely need to get on here, okay? I need to interview you. So Joe Dahl, if you're watching this, hit me up, man. I want to get an interview with you because you're definitely one of our favorite players. But unfortunately, he comes on the fall list for the stock. And now we have a couple guys that I put in here for steady, and those guys include Andrew Adams. Andrew Adams, like, the reason he's here is because, I didn't want to say it cancels it out, but him having a pick, then giving up a touchdown, I just felt like he was in position to make plays all the time. Unfortunately, he didn't always make those plays. You still have to make the plays if you're in the position to do it, because position means nothing if you're going to give up a touchdown in the end zone. But he also was in position, and he did come up with our only interception of the game, so I have to give him credit there. And then we have really the starters. I mean, the basic starters, the guys that were out there. Not Matthew Stafford because he wasn't there, but Carry-On, Kenny Galladay. I mean, the guys that were out there, they played fine. TJ Hawkinson, he had a nice little gain. There wasn't anything great that was like, whoa, that's That's some good stuff. But there wasn't anything like, I'm like, are you serious? These are our starters? Now, the defense, they kind of struggled on that first drive. I would say, like, what the heck happened there? But after the first drive, they looked like they just settled in. Now, they did play Deshaun Watson, and we did look like we had them. Unfortunately, Hopkins is a great wide receiver, and he came open. I believe it was against Rashawn Melvin, so that's unfortunate. You could also throw Rashawn Melvin on here on the steady list as well. But I'm going to stay the starters in general. Then I have Chris Lacey, who Chris Lacey has been balling out in the offseason. He had a solid game, okay? It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. He had a nice grab, nice pretty deep grab, so that definitely helped him out. And then Brandon Powell. Powell's just one of those guys that can do multiple things, so he's usually at least in a steady category, if anything, as long as he just plays okay. So that's really my stock watch for the Detroit Lions. Again, there are other guys you can add onto this list. Like I said, Rashawn Melvin would probably be steady. I said pretty much all the starters because I kind of just wanted to summarize it like that. But other than that, those are my stock watches. Let me hear your thoughts and comments below. Let me hear what you guys think. Who fell, who rose, and who stayed steady. Anyways, I'm really grateful for you guys joining the Madden tournament. It was super fun, and thank you guys for rocking with me on this video. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'm out.